Hello everyone and welcome today. So what I would like to go through with you is our group scheme for small producers. And then we'll introduce ourselves, our names, our designation, and where we are based. So today I will go through an outline on who Wild Asia is, why we are here. I will also talk about some sustainability trends. I will give you an overview of small producers in Malaysia. Then I would like to take you through the Wild Asia Group Scheme, what it's about, and how it can help you. And then we'll have a discussion on next steps and how we would like you to participate in the program and what you can expect in terms of outcomes from the project. So Wild Asia, just to give you a quick introduction on who we are. We are a company that operates as a non-for-profit organization. Our main aim is to engage with businesses that have a direct impact on the environment and people. And we want to work with them to minimize impacts on the environment or social impacts on the ground. Wild Asia, within the palm oil industry, we have worked with many different types of players. We have worked with producers, large and small, including farmers with less than 40 hectares. We have worked with refineries, supply chain, other supply chain partners such as oleochemical companies, large buyers and so forth. We also work with corporate investors, and we provide training and capacity building to people within the palm oil industry. So you can see we have quite a wide knowledge and reach within this industry. As mentioned just now, we have a host of consultants, trainers. We also do a lot of communication to promote sharing and learning. And we have innovation labs where we develop practical solutions for addressing some of the social and environmental issues seen within the palm oil industry. We are based in KL, but we have a growing office operations in Sabah. We also have some international locations in Siem Reap, Phuket, London, and Taipei. So that was a quick overview of Wild Asia. Now I would like to take you through why are we here and how we would like to help you or assist you. So in palm oil, our goal is to increase the production of traceable and certified sustainable palm oil. So sustainable palm oil basically is looking at how we can maximize productivity on a piece of land while minimizing the impact on the environment and social aspects, so that we can ensure that the land is so there's no adverse impact on the land, and we can maintain it for our future generations. So we plan to do this by directly supporting palm oil producers such as yourself, and we create innovative models to support the production on the ground. So today we are here with KLK. KLK in the global market are wide users of palm oil. They are also on their way to achieving towards getting RSPO certification, and they would also like to extend that. They would also like to extend that towards towards all their suppliers supplying them. Okay. So we are here in collaboration with KLK to work with all of you. We are currently looking for potential suppliers that are willing to be part of this feasibility study. So before we go into what the program is and how we would like to work with you, let me just take a step back and explain to you some of the sustainability trends within the palm oil industry. I think some of you might know some of this already, so this is just a quick overview of that. So if you have kept track with what's going on within the industry, you'll know that there has been in the international market some backlash to palm oil people saying that palm oil is unsustainable. In fact, this is not true. There might be some producers that are not producing sustainable palm oil, but it does not affect the entire industry, and we would like to set the record straight on this. If you look at history, this chart really shows that companies used to focus on certification systems such as ISO, which is a quality-based certification, but more and more nowadays you find in any industry, including the food industry, people are focusing on sustainability standards, i.e. RSPO, SA 8000 and ISCC come into play. So the shift is really happening right now, where people are moving away from quality standards per se by looking at sustainability standards. And sustainability standards really cover everything from environment, social, good agricultural practices, health and safety, legal, and so forth. Large buyers within the market, people like Unilever, are also coming up with their own internal manifesto. They are looking to only buy from suppliers that practice sustainable production of palm oil. So when they say sustainable, they mean zero deforestation, no peatlands, and no worker exploitation. We also have companies like General Mills developing similar trends. HSBC, who are not producers of palm oil but investors within the palm oil industry, are also making commitments in the same way. They are only looking to support sustainable producers of palm oil. Wilmar, another major player in the market, which I'm sure you might have heard of, they're big buyers in Sabah and Sarawak. They have also made sustainability commitments to only buy from sustainable producers. So as you can see, the trend in the market is really buyers are now asking for sustainable palm oil, and we feel that in the past a lot of companies that have moved in this direction have been the larger companies who have the technical know-how and the resources, but small producers, be it smallholders or small growers, have been largely left out, and there's been no focus on this particular group, and that is why we are here. We would like to support this group in moving in the same direction so that they are kept in line with the industry movement. So who are small producers? Let's just take a quick look at who are small producers and what is their role in the palm oil industry. So farmers have a very big role within the industry. If you look at just Malaysia, 60% of palm oil comes from the large companies and 40% comes from small farmers. Independent small producers are defined as smallholders less than 40 hectares or small growers from 40 to 500 hectares. There are also scheme smallholders, which are your Feldas and your Ristas and so forth. So the difference between independent and scheme smallholders is that scheme smallholders do get some assistance from the government, whereas the independent farmers are largely on their own and do not get any support in terms of financial and technical resources. Our aim is to focus on the independent farmers and assist them in moving towards sustainability. So this gives a quick snapshot of what an average smallholder profile is like. I guess at this point we can pause and just ask the audience, what do you think? Do you agree with this? This is a profile that has been developed by MPOB. Similarly, we have a profile for small growers, mostly family-owned, average farm size of 150 hectares, and they use a lot of hired workers. So again, we can pause here and just ask the audience, do you agree with this? Are there any differences? And this small grower profile, we obtained it from our own research. So there is no documented research on small grower at this stage. So let me tell you a little bit about the Wild Asia Group scheme now. So the Wild Asia Group Scheme is basically a solution for small farmers that want to move in the direction of sustainability. It is a model that Wild Asia has come up with through years of working with independent farmers as well as interested mills who have supported the program. So we basically go on the ground, work with the farmer, identify gaps in their production, see what their current practices are, see what is good in the farm and how we can help to enhance it. In terms of gaps, see how we can help to close the gaps and work together towards getting small producers towards certification. Our mission is to increase traceable and certified palm oil in the global supply chain. So bear with us because this is something new that we are bringing to the table. Currently, there are no other companies working with small producers independently as this. MPOB do have some program on the ground and that is really focused on good agricultural practices, whereas we are trying to cover the realm of sustainability. We are creating a model that is able to be applied in any natural grouping that we find in the scheme of things. We call this the Wild Asia Group Scheme, or WAGS for short, and it really is aimed at promoting traceability, encouraging best practices, and at the same time meeting international certification standards. So while we are focused on sustainability, which is our key focus, we do want to take you to certification standards as well, because once you have the certification standard, you can use that as a credibility tool to show people that you have achieved sustainability. The WAGS process is very simple. Basically, we start with, as I mentioned just now, a baseline, seeing what is happening on the farm, what your current operations is. Then we move on to conducting a gap analysis, seeing how you can comply with sustainability standards. Then we form a group, a formal group, because smallholders, we would like to address them as a group and not individually. So you will be working as a group, but your farms will be assessed individually. Then once we know what the main gaps are in your farm, we would like to bring technical support to your farm. It might be in various ways, either BMP training, health and safety, social issues, environmental issues. That is something that we will craft once we have done the baseline with your company or with your farms. Then we go on to do compliance monitoring. Once we feel that your farm and you are ready for certification, we will propose for auditors to come in and certify your farm, and thereafter we will carry on with performance reporting. So the whole process and journey towards certification takes approximately about 8 months to a year at the fastest, but sometimes depending on different situations and different challenges that we see on the ground, it might take longer. So just a quick background, this is not the first time that we're implementing a smallholder project in Malaysia. In 2010, we started with our first certification scheme with a company called Caresa Plantations in Sarawak. That was the first time that we started engaging with small farmers. In 2013, we started in a group with independent smallholders in Beluran, Sabah. Within 1 year, we managed to get the group certified, RSPO certified. That group has now gone on to tell their success story to the world. Following that success, we have also started out a few more smallholder group schemes in Kinabatangan and Tawau and also Perak. As I mentioned just now, Wild Asia is currently the only scheme that you find in the world that is able to work across different geographic areas. Okay. So this is a chart showing, where we are currently in terms of our smallholder group schemes. We have 2 groups certified. We have 2 groups in progress of being RSPO certified, and 4 groups that we have just started operations. We hope to include 1 more group today with KLK and yourselves. Below on the chart, you'll also see some of the partners that we currently work with. So we do not represent these companies. They are merely partners in helping us assist small producers. This is a quick snapshot of some of the farmers that we have worked with and that we are continuing to work with. So next step. So let's just have a quick chat about how can you participate in the program. So I've given you an overview of who Wild Asia is. I've mentioned that we are here because KLK, who are an RSPO certified company, would like to also extend support to small producers to achieve RSPO certification, and hence they have called us in to assist in this. I've talked a little bit about small producers in Malaysia and the role of the farmers within the palm oil industry and the importance of them. And so now, and we've also touched base on what the Wild Asia Group Scheme is about. So now I would like to touch a little bit about what can you expect out of the program. So how can you participate? 1, we merely need your cooperation. So we would like to partner with you. We will build the program over the coming year, but we would really ask that you cooperate in terms of coming for training, coming for our talks, and implementing some of the good practices that we bring on the ground. We will ensure 100% confidentiality. We will not disclose any information to any government agencies or your competitors. We are very aware that confidentiality is important to all farmers, and we are here to respect that. The second thing is we would really appreciate it if you will allow us to do a baseline assessment of your farm. So basically this is just a visit to your farm to see what farm conditions and general farm practices are. We would also like to interview you, your managers or your workers on some basic information. So if there's any information that you feel is a little too confidential, that is fine with us. Our focus is really to focus on farm operations and farm landscape, as you would. So thereon, what do we need from you? Once we've established what the baseline is and how your farms are, we will try and build a program around continual improvement, how we can take you to sustainability. So we don't have the answers right now. We need to see what your farm looks like and then build a program around that. So some farmers might be getting very good yields, so we're not going to be focusing on yields per se, but we might try and address some of your worker issues or some of your environmental issues. There are some farmers that we've seen in Sabah, in the more rural areas, that do need good agricultural practices, and they might get a bit more training on those areas. So again, we are not here to teach you things that you already know. We are here to just address gaps that you might not have in moving towards sustainability. So it could be in agronomic practices, it could be in social impacts, managing your workers, managing communities, it could be in managing environmental impacts or health and safety and so forth. We would also require that we work with you as a group because we also have a very lean team on the field. There are certain things such as field visits that we would like to conduct as a group rather than individually, so that everyone can learn from these group visits. So what would you benefit from this? If you join this program, what can you hope to achieve from it? One is we aspire to ensure that your farm management is more efficient and more productive. Again, as I mentioned, if that is something that you've already focused on and you're currently doing very well in, no doubt this will not be a focus for your particular farm, but this could be a focus for other farmers in other regions. Being part of WAGS would mitigate from being excluded from the global supply chain. So just now I talked about sustainability trends within the palm oil industry, and you can see that the larger companies are moving towards sustainability. The buyers are asking for sustainable palm oil. This will put you in line with what the industry is requiring. Right now, a lot of the large companies are moving to RSPO certification and sustainability certification, but the small producers face a risk of exclusion, and we don't want that to happen. So we are here to help you to achieve that. Being part of WAGS could make you a preferred supplier. Now, at the moment, there are very few smallholders in Malaysia that are RSPO certified. Wild Asia has one group certified in Sabah. There are no other independent smallholders that are certified. We are also working with small producers. Currently, there are no small producers that are certified in Malaysia as well. We are looking to support you towards becoming an elite group that is certified and can be a preferred supplier in future. So WAGS is 100% voluntary. You do not need to, you will not be forced to join. You can participate as an observer and later on sign the commitment if you so feel so. Anytime that you wish to be removed from the program, you can do so. Our agreement is not a binding contract. Our agreement is merely a commitment contract. So we ask that you commit to the program and we will commit to supporting you in achieving sustainability. So it is not a binding buyer-seller contract. There is no membership fees. We operate using funds that we get from, using support that we get from the mill and from other supporting parties in the world. But right now, there is no membership fees that are translated to the farmers. So you also have complete freedom in terms of where you send your crops to. However, in cases where we have a partner mill that is offering incentives, for example, like we're working with KLK right now and they are keen to support you and provide provisions for incentives, then we would like you to build a commitment towards this mill. So, can you join the WAGS program? So, anyone can be part of the WAGS program, but to get to its certification, there are a few areas that we need to ensure the farmers are in compliance with, and that is legal, i.e. you have all the necessary legal requirements like MPOV license, you have a right to your land, so you can demonstrate that you have a title or a right to be on the land. You've not developed on primary forest or peatlands. You are recording farm production information. You provide a safe and clean working environment for your workforce. You attend WAGS training. You do cooperate with the WAGS officers and allow for performance and technical visits. And you're able to demonstrate continual improvement. So these are all requirements that will get you towards certification. So although you might not have most of this right now, that is fine with us. We would like you to join the program and follow us on this journey to get you to achieve this. Any questions at this point? Did I miss anything? I know it's a bit rich. No, I think let it just carry on.
That's good.
So, because this is an internal training, it's fine. So, if there is a question, for example, let's just throw some questions that might come from the floor. So, if there's a question on how much do I have to pay for certification? Or how much do I have to pay for this program? This is our response. This program has no, something's buzzing. This program has no membership fees, and it has no requirement of payment at this point. All we ask is that if there are improvements to be made on your farm, we would like you to manage those improvements on your own. We are going to try and ensure that the improvements and recommendations that we provide do not require massive cost disadvantage to yourself. We will not expect you to build stores. There are other ways around it. So we will sit down with you and come up with define a way that you can put into place that shows your commitment towards sustainability at the same time keeping costs at the minimum. So we are not going to force upon you to make massive changes on your farm operations. We just want to see what your operations are like and assist you in addressing the gap areas so that you can move towards sustainability. Any other particular questions?
How much can I get if I do certify?
Right.
Benefit of the program.
So a lot of the times you will hear questions like premiums being mentioned.
Fertilizers,
Subsidies. Okay, so we talk about premiums first. Right now, we are just starting the program. I would request that premiums are important, but we first need to prove that we are, as a group, we are sustainable. Once we can prove that we are sustainable, the topic of premiums is something that we can discuss with the FFB buyer. In this case, the mill. And yes, there are premiums in the market, but this is a discussion that we have to take to the FFB buyer. Wild Asia is not an FFB buyer. We are here as program implementers. We want to assist you. To us, we feel that we want to focus not just on the premiums, but we also want to focus on improving productivity. If you feel that currently your productivity is at its maximum, then let us just help you move towards sustainability by addressing social and environmental impacts. But if you feel your productivity is currently low or you're not sure what your productivity levels are, then let us assist you to improve that productivity levels and ensure that you're getting the most out of the land that you have. Once we are certified, then we will sit down with the FFB buyer and we will talk about how can we incentivize and how can we bring some premiums for the certification. And you mentioned, do we provide any subsidies? So Wild Asia per se, we don't provide subsidies. We do not have the cash flow to provide this. However, what we can bring to you is support, in-kind support. So we will see, once we have conducted the baseline assessment, we will know what are some of the gap areas or some of the support areas that you require. And from there, we can sit down with the mill or with some supporting partners and see how we can assist you. But I do not want to leave you today with false hopes that we will bring to you subsidies and so forth. Allow us to do the baseline and to see what is the current operations, and then we can move from there. Do you think that's okay? Not committing, but not turning it away.
I mean, like now we're focusing on farmers who are supplying directly to the calcium mill. So if we are presenting it to others who actually are supplying to collection centers and they feel that they're being manipulated by all these students, if they ask what's our role in helping them to address that issue?
I think if we are presenting to collection centers, we will have to create another box. So I think for now, this one would just be mill supported small producers. For now. Because you're right, there will have to be a different story told and a different way of trying to pull them in. Yeah. Okay, so next step. So now that you've had a chance to bounce off some ideas, I do hope that you have got a positive output of what we're doing here and why we're here. We're happy to take questions after this. I would just like to conclude on what the next steps are. We would basically, after this, like you to indicate whoever's interested to join the program, to just leave your name and your number. We would like to have a one-on-one discussion with you, answer any questions that you might have some more. Then we would like to move on to conduct a baseline assessment on your farm, as well as to ask you a few questions. And this is done so that, as I mentioned just now, we can see what your current operations are and what are some of the gap areas that we think you would need to overcome in order to move towards sustainability. So as I mentioned just now, it could be in different areas. The gap areas could be either in good agricultural practices or farm management. It could be in managing social impacts, managing environmental impacts, managing health and safety, and so forth. So it doesn't have to be one or all of it. It can be a few things for some farmers and a few things, different things for other farmers. Based on that, we will then create specific trainings to address those basic things. So some of the things that we have experienced in other farmer projects such as this is to address issues such as storage, housing, chemical handling, and waste management. We would
Record keeping.
and documentation as well. We would also like to have access to visit your farms every 3 to 6 months to monitor improvements, answer any questions that you have, and explore new areas for improvement. So just to conclude on this, we would like you to know that Wild Asia is here in the long run. We are here in the long run. We are partners with KLK, and we would like to take this program all the way through to address all the farmers that are currently supplying KLK and help you move towards that. So it's not a 1 year or a 2 year program. We are going to work with you and cooperate with you until such a time where we feel you are capable of managing this on your own. Okay? Okay, that's it.